2020, my disappointment remains high. The president, in fact, fell further behind in Pennsylvania last night. There is actually no way forward for me. I can't see any way that the president can pull this out, and they have not yet filed any lawsuit that alleges anything that, even if proven, would lead to a reversal of the outcome. So I believe Joe Biden is the president-elect, and I will be referring to him as such, as I believe that is in the tradition of American civic mindedness. If anything shows up that would cast doubt on that result, I'll be the first to tell you. If I see a lawsuit and read a lawsuit that, if successful, would reverse the result, I will tell you that too. But I don't see it. I think we got to move on to Georgia and win there. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. Let me, though, tell you, if you're one of those people frustrated by the nightmare of this counting, and you realize that Amazon.com can deliver more packages per day than votes are being counted in some states like New York. New York, which is not in play for the presidential election, is an utter catastrophic failure. Andrew Cuomo shouldn't even have a press conference. It's just a catastrophic failure in the vote, of course. California is a little bit better. Two big blue states are catastrophic failures. If you want to have voting reform, there's a petition over at HughHewitt.com. Verify the election, sign the petition. It's not the language I would have used, but it's basically a cri de coeur for people who just are tired of this stuff, who believe that in all of the idiocy of these local election boards, that there's got to be a better way. We've got to audit what happened and improve what happened. There were some changes made after 2000 in Florida, overseen by Republicans, that make Florida a model of efficiency. Those ought to be imposed upon via the spending clause. You can't really impose an election system under the Constitution on any of the states, but you can bribe them to do it. That's how they got the states to raise the drinking age to 18. So if you want an audit and reform, go over to HughHewitt.com and sign that and verify the election, sign the petition. It's at the very top. And we'll collect and try and organize and provide the people who are pushing for reform the names and numbers of people to get in touch with behind that, because it just is silly that we're still counting in New York and California and that we don't have a House yet. We know that the Republicans have won a sweeping victory. President Trump yesterday congratulated Ronna McDaniel, the RNC chairwoman, and that's deserved. Ronna did a great job. The Republicans picked up 3 state legislative bodies, 1 governorship, significant gains in the House, and they're going to hold the Senate if they win the Senate races in Georgia. And nobody expected that. Remember the poll that said the president was going to lose Wisconsin by 17 points? That was a suppression poll. That may have cost him the election. People who say, why bother? I'm a Trump supporter. I don't really care about politics, but I'm not going to go if it's 17 points down, 30 miles to town. So it's a suppression. People talk about suppressing the vote. It happened by the pollsters. There is no way, by the way, that any pollster ought to be believed on the Georgia Senate race except Trafalgar Group. They cannot fix what is wrong with their system, even if they want to. Do not believe any poll about Georgia. You just got to get involved in Georgia. Now, I have tweeted out my ways to get involved in Georgia. If you're going to contribute, I think you should do it through the Senate Majority Fund. Some people are using winred.com, which is fine. But Leader McConnell is the wiliest man in D.C. He's got the best team. And the Senate Leadership Fund is the Senate Majority Fund. Make sure I get this right. Let me go look. I always get it confused because there are 2 of them out there, and one is good and one is not on target. And by not on target, I don't mean corrupt. I just mean it's not on target. It's the Senate Leadership Fund, SenateLeadershipFund.com. That's run by Mitch. And the Grim Reaper is going to do that to the left-wingers, Ossoff and Warnock. John Ossoff is AOC light. The Reverend Warnock is a radical left-winger. I mean, they are way outside the mainstream of the Democratic Party, both of them. But the Reverend Warnock is way, way outside. Yesterday he was asked about court packing. I don't know if we kept that clip. But we got to remind the people of Georgia. And I have here in my hand a list of the affiliates that I have. WCGAM 1100 in Woodbine, which is all of southern Georgia, based out of Jacksonville. Great signal. WCHM 1490 in Clarksville. WCHM FX on 96.7, that's the FM signal in Clarksville. Of course, our big giant bird, AM 920, The Answer, WGKA in Atlanta. The big giant signal in Macon, WGST, AM 720. We've got WJRB FM 95.1 in Young Harris, Georgia. We've got WJUL AM 1230 in Hiawassee, Georgia. That's up on the northern border. We've got WLBB AM and FM in Carrollton, 1330 and 106.3 in Carrollton. WQEE FM 99.1 in Newman. We've got WRLA 1490 in West Point Valley. We got WWNS AM and WWNS FX FM, that's 1240 AM and 107.77 in Savannah. So I got the state covered, and you all have to know. We have, this is the Reverend Warnock being asked, will you pack the Supreme Court? It's a direct question. Here's what he says.
Was that if Democrats take majority, there would be court packing on the Supreme Court or the federal benches, as well as statehood approved for DC and Puerto Rico. So I wanted to ask what your stance is on those, three kind of issues.
I think that they're trying to divide us again. And it's really sad because
it's not hard. Do you support packing the Supreme Court? Yes or no? Do you support massive gun buybacks and seizures? Do you support making D.C. a state? Will you vote to end the filibuster? Those are 4 yes or no questions. And the Reverend Warnock supports ending the filibuster. The Reverend Warnock supports packing the Supreme Court. The Reverend Warnock does not support your Second Amendment rights, and the Reverend Warnock wants to make D.C. a state. John Ossoff is the same, but the Reverend Warnock has got radical ties going way back. John Ossoff is just AOC light. He's just there for the lights, the camera, the action. He looks in the mirror every morning and sees a president of the United States. He really is the candidate circa 2020. Remember the Robert Redford movie? He really, really is the candidate. Reverend Warnock, he's the real deal hardcore leftist radical. And Georgia, you decide the fate of the United States. Chuck Schumer told everyone exactly what was on his mind. Let's play cut number 1.
Now we take Georgia, and then we change the world. Yeah! I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Mr. Schumer? Now we take Georgia, and then we change America.
We take Georgia and change the world. We take Georgia and change America. Taking Georgia is not a center-right or even a moderately left point of view. Taking Georgia is what grasping members of the left do. They take from you the control of your own life. They take from you your views, your values, your cultures, your freedoms. They take from you your taxes. They take from you your guns. Chuck Schumer had a moment of transparent, incandescent honesty. They're going to take Georgia. Now, listen, Georgians, if you live there, by the way, if you can't move there and vote, that's illegal. Appears to be a crime, and I bet it will be prosecuted. If you move to Georgia and you try and register to vote, you move to Georgia for the purposes of voting, I believe that is a crime. I read one analysis yesterday, and I hope they prosecute the heck out of you. You can move to Georgia to volunteer. You can move to Georgia to help out. You can contribute to Georgia, but you may not move to Georgia with the intention of voting and leaving. That's vote fraud. But if you want to help out, go to SenateLeadershipFund.com and contribute. Go to PurdueSenate.com, PERDUE Senate.com.